What's up, Christian? MTK22, Kelly, User238, 3D Render. How are you, everybody? Welcome to Tellurian. Good morning. Joining from YouTube. D Herd. Today is a very late night one. Can't get a break. Very busy days, but I'm not complaining. How are you, Funker? Early or late? I haven't gotten to sleep yet. I'm in LA. What time is it for you, Kelly? Welcome everybody to Simulation Talk 105. It's moving fast. Yesterday I didn't have a choice but to skip one because I just literally finished working at like 4 a.m. and I was basically said there's no way. I'm not going to be of help to anyone. Newfoundland. Wow, where's that? I want to see where that is. Talking about a hopeful flight. Whoa, that's so pretty. Oh, it's Canada. How far east are you? Well, I guess not that crazy, right? 4 hours. So a little past New York, basically. Sydney is in the house. How are you, Funker? Sydney is like, you guys are always like, what, 2 days ahead or something? I think it's like 16 hours, right? Forward or something more crazy than that. I can smell you is the handle. Whoa. Whoa. How are you? TikToking, Nicholas. How are you, Nick? Yeah, so basically these are crazy busy days. And literally these are the hours that I'm done with work, so hopefully soon we'll be. I keep saying that, but it just seems to not. It becomes more and more relentless. Okay, well, we'll do a short one today, just to say we said hi, and then I think I'm not sure if it was you, Chris, but somebody here I feel like sent me an email. A lot of people send me emails recently. I just not sure how I'm responding to everything, but I will. I'll definitely react to everybody, respond to everybody. So, in the meanwhile, we'll say hello. Welcome to Simulation Talk 105. This channel usually revolves around the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found actual proof that we live in a simulation. A few years ago, I discovered that if you projected a fractal laser on the surface while ingesting a particular molecule, you will see code running in surfaces. And this observation has now been substantiated over 1,000 times worldwide. And we meet here every single day to discuss the discovery, the implications, as well as science in general, religion, spirituality, philosophy, God, and whatever else comes to mind. Mostly in recent chats, I think it was just me complaining about being tired. That's all. That was the whole chat. No, I'm very grateful. I feel very grateful. I truly do. Life is quite incredible. Okay, so not sure if we have any questions coming from. Oh, we're already at sea. Nice. I didn't even notice that. Welcome everybody to the live chat. By the way, all the people on TikTok, that if you feel like you want to. Did it grab it? Yes. If you guys would like to watch all my videos in a longer format, all the videos you see here on TikTok usually have a longer format video, and all of that can be found on my YouTube channel, which is Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. And if anybody are paying attention from the other platforms, across the platforms, my handles are Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram, Goller Danny on X, Laser X83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. So, all that being said, by the way, we're working on a documentary that is discussing the discovery, the experiments, and we are working on a crowdfunding round. So if you have the capability of donating and you feel like you want to see the movie faster, I would encourage you to do so. And you can find the link in my link tree on TikTok or under the trailer on YouTube. You can find these links. I think that was all the housekeeping I wanted to do. Oh, one more thing. I did add a membership program on YouTube. I think a couple of people joined, or maybe more people joined at this point. I'm not sure. But it's going to include a lot more personal interaction with me. On a bi-weekly basis, we're going to have Zoom conversations, as well as another either weekly or bi-weekly live. That's going to be much more private. And I'm working on other perks that will be included, so people will get their money worth. All the people that say I see unlocked minds, I see you. I see your message. It says check DM. Just so you guys know, if you want to reach, if you want to get my attention, the fastest way, even when I'm super busy, is my email, lasersimulationx@gmail.com. I rarely, if ever, check my messages on social media. All my notifications on social media are off, because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind. So, I know a lot of people send me messages, DMs, all over the place, but unfortunately, even if I will get around to it, it might be way later. So, please email me if that's important enough. lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate you. Great hair. Keep growing. Nice. Thank you. That makes me feel good. Why not? Virginia is on YouTube is saying, "Oh yeah." So I think that's all the housekeeping we're gonna do. So, welcome to TikTok and YouTube and X and Twitch. Simulation Talk 105. Virginia Marie is saying, "Hey Dan, well wishes. Good to see you again. Good to see you as well, Virginia. I'll bet ordering the laser from you today." Oh, awesome. Amazing. Yeah, let me know if you need any help in figuring anything out. That would be great. I appreciate you. Third Eye Vision saying, "Hey Dan, I have been following your work. Very interesting stuff. There is a question that I would really value your feedback on. Have you ruled out optical illusion? If yes, please elaborate." Thank you so much for the kind words, Third Eye Vision. Also, your handle is very fitting for the subject matter. Yes, of course. I only came out and spoke about this publicly after there was no more shred of doubt in my mind, and we're talking about something very real. I mean, the short answer is that there's so much that needs to be understood in terms of what, forget about visual illusions, even what hallucinations are, and to what degree they're still justified being called hallucinations, and it has to do with their rigidity, with how permanent they are in space, how insistent they are, how similar they are across individuals. And under the banner of all of these parameters, anything that you see on the spirit molecule, I don't know if you're familiar with the actual experience, but it does not fall under it does not easily fall under the parameter of what you would call hallucinations in general, without even my discovery. On top of that, the code is extremely coherent. It does not appear like a do I see it, do I not see it kind of category. It is extremely coherent. Extremely coherent. It's like a regular object. It's just like looking at this. It's like asking yourself, can this be an optical illusion? Technically, it can be, because anything can be, but the chances that what I'm holding right now is a optical illusion, they're very low. So there is no good way of describing it with words easy, but that's the closest I can get to delivering to you how realistic what you're seeing in the laser is. But the whole movie is really about the subject, so it's obviously going to be outlined a lot more in detail in the movie. Have you tried to play with didgeridoo? Oh no, but that's a really fun instrument, both to say and to listen to and maybe play, but I've never played it. While on the molecule, or had someone play it for you while observing the code? No, but I have tried a lot of other kinds of auditory elements, and so far no luck with that. Hey Dan, interested to know if you've attempted to draw the symbols you have seen and compare with other people also drawing what they see. So in the trailer, the characters are there. They were drawn by an artist, but a few artists drew it. So yes, you can see it in the trailer in the beginning on the piece of paper, on the full version. Thank you so much for the likes, guys, on TikTok, and I can't really see who's liking the live on the other platforms, but I would encourage you to like the live. It definitely helps the algorithm. And I'm talking to you, X, and YouTube, and Twitch. And TikTok, thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate you. On TikTok, X is saying, good luck with your work. Did you get any information out so far which can translate to advantages? So far, no, X. Thank you for the question. I also, to be honest, am not really focusing on that at the moment. I think I'm more focusing on trying to see if we can triangulate what is some of the behavior of the code really is and how it maps on to what we understand about reality. So, baby steps. I think deciphering what the code means, you're talking about a very advanced stage of investigation. You're the first person on TikTok whose fire alarm is not going off because of the battery. What battery? Talarian is saying, I have played didgeridoo for people coming of whippets after a long night of X, and they all have the same trip. You want to elaborate and tell me exactly what kind of trip? That is interesting. And just so you know, this is a common maybe is a stretch, but it is a known ability that sound can carry particular experiences into reality. So for example, there's excuse my brain, I'm a little slow right now. The Shipibo tribes, the one that are making all these intricate patterns, they also singing Icarus. In these songs, they invoke particular kind of objects into existence. What's up, Red Luis? Thank you so much. I appreciate the rose. Appreciate you. Okay, let's see what we got here. We got a C3. That's good. Why specifically didgeridoo, by the way, Tellurian, which is a very cool instrument. Okay, I see there's not that many questions. That's good. And yeah, I hope that satisfied CMW. The drawing of the images of the characters is we're gonna have it a lot more in a lot more robust way in the movie. I'm working with a VR expert. Ooh, this reminds me, I need a reminder tomorrow to reach out to see where we stand. So, whoa, man. Have you heard of a theory of Icarus as it might pertain to subject matter at hand? I mean, that's a little bit of a general statement. Can you say more? What do you mean? What theory specifically? What was I saying? Oh, VR. So we're going to have a much more advanced versions of the code and also of the console. And we're going to be able to, I think, recreate quite a bit of the behavior of all of these elements. I think the movement and that's what gives the code and the console the feel that they do of realism. So that's the thing that I'm trying to recreate as much as I possibly can. Who is... Whoa, okay. What if the illusion is the code comes from within and not from an external source, but a shared common internal source? So the matrix is real. It seems to be Hermes, but it's upside down. So it's not like we're stuck in a computer software, but the proposition is that the world is computational. The real world is computational. And what we call the real world is just a subset of a much larger real computational space. Have you tried to experiment looking at cymatics in water? In water, not yet, no. But I know the water does very interesting things on the molecule, actually. And to your question, Tellurian, what if the illusion is the code comes from within and not from an external source, but a shared common internal source? What would be the difference, to your mind, between what you call the inner source and something that is external source? EMOH is saying, what are your thoughts on high-level states with no entities or messages, just bliss? I mean, I feel like that's the closest you can get, or maybe we're talking about more like nirvana states where you're just one with everything that exists. That's what I think that is. Odds Kid is saying, have you published the code somewhere? The actual code, yeah, it's in the trailer itself. You can see it on the piece of paper that is in the beginning of the trailer. But definitely cymatics combined with magnets, combined with projections to particular materials is definitely going to be the next step of all these experiments. And what else can I tell you? It's pretty interesting. I'm going to very soon focus full force on the new experiments that I've been preparing for a while. You know, people proposing a lot of experiments, and I've been thinking about a lot of different kind of experiments. And I think it's going to become time soon for me to just dive full force and for 2-3 months just experiment and do these things every single day and do what needs to be done. So I think very soon I'm going to have some fun things to report. We can't live in a simulation. It would violate thermodynamics. First of all, I don't really see why that would be the case. Second of all, the proposition is that thermodynamics is already an arising property within a much more sophisticated system, and essentially the laws of physics themselves are simulated. That's the proposition. How would you use cymatics specifically? Well, cymatics, depending on how you do it, right, what it represents is a standing wave on a particular substrate. In a particular substrate, on a particular surface, under a particular frequency. And essentially, it's a way to show how standing waves arrange themselves at different frequencies. And it's pretty clear, I think, at this point that both the molecule and the involvement of the laser together with the molecule has something to do with particular frequencies that allow our brain to see this extra content. In addition to that, I'm very focused on the holographic principle and holography in general, and trying to map onto what we understand through the molecule and the code and the laser, what it might entail in terms of what exactly is the hologram here. Are we the hologram? Are we the reference light? What are we exactly in this picture? But it seems pretty clear to me that we're talking about a hologram of some sort. Again, guys, as far as DMs, I'm telling you again, the chances I'm going to see your DM on social is very low. I don't check them. I have a lot of messages that were unchecked. I don't check it for my, well, for many reasons, but one of them is my mental health. Social media, I come on here to interact with people on my lives and post videos, and once in a while I would notice a message and then I would respond. But if you want reliably to get my attention, it would be my email, not DMs. It would be lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Also, please remember, again, it's lasersimulationx@gmail.com. And please remember that I do get a lot of emails during the day, so if you can please be considerate and keep it to one paragraph, at least the opening email. And it shouldn't be more than one or two questions or a particular subject you want to pick to talk about. Because if you write a lot of things and the information is not organized and you're asking 5 to 10 different things, it just becomes too much to handle. If I have to answer all of these every single day, I will never get out of it. So please, one paragraph, one subject, one question, if possible. You got it, unlocked minds. And by the way, if the conversation goes somewhere, we'll keep talking. But at least the opening email, please think about exactly what you want to say. A simulation would have a compute to the Planck length, which we know because we measured to that. Right, we measured to Planck length as the only natural scale because any other scale is not natural, which means we have to arbitrarily put some things in it. But nobody in their right minds think that Planck's scale is the final scale. That nobody said that, nobody will ever say that. It's just that we don't know how to handle it or don't know how to interact with it, because when you go beyond it, you start getting probabilities that are more than 100%, which makes no sense. But it just doesn't make any sense to our mathematical tools. It doesn't mean that it doesn't make any sense at all in general. Experience, I would claim, can actually penetrate a lot more kinds of dimensions. Now, this is obviously a contentious matter under the fact that a lot of scientists are still physicalists and believe that what we measure in terms of spin, momentum, and mass, location are fundamental, which I really don't see any reason to think that at this point anymore. I mean, not just me, but just like as modern science. And the whole idea that you need to think about computation in terms of physicality, I think, are just not, they don't really hold water. So even, it's true that physicists would insist that computation ultimately is always a physical process, but I think it's kind of like confusing the activities in the brain with what consciousness feels like when you're looking at it from a first-person perspective. Sure, you can say that when these neurons fire, this individual sees and experiences this and this and this, but it is not to say that these firings are consciousness. That's just a mistake. That's just wrong. Like, you can't, the one doesn't collapse to the other, right? We can say that there's a strong correlation, or they're one and the same, but what you do need to still explain is exactly how they're one and the same. What does that mean in terms of the more fundamental thing? In the same way, any insistence on some kind of a bound, either in terms of energy or time or space, on computation is just as arbitrary. Because computation, technically, and this is what Turing discovered, the universality of computation, you can actually compute anything, literally anything. Infinite dimensional spaces, which means infinite dimensional entities and content, probably consciousness as well. Now, on top of that, you're talking about quantum computation, not regular computation, which opens exponentially more options. So I think you're getting to an uncountable universe at that point. So these, little ideas that people have. And by the way, I know this is not something you would just say. I know that some physicists would say the same thing, but I would say the same thing to physicists, which is that if you really believe that reality has to follow our little understanding at the moment, I mean, come on, let's get real here, right? Reality doesn't care what we understand and what we don't understand, right? So, and I do think that ultimately space is infinite. So computationally, we can already create worlds that are very elaborate. You have the game, what is it? Something Nomad's Land or something. I always forget the name of this game, and my viewers always help me. But that game that when you go to different worlds, it renders new worlds all the time, and you have hundreds of millions of possible worlds. We can do that in our tiny computers. So imagine what a civilization that is 2 billion years more advanced than us can do, right? And you don't even have to go that far. So yeah, I think to put all of these like limitations of what's possible, what's impossible, I think it's silly at the best. Got proof from NASA. Well, I got news for you. NASA is definitely not the final arbiter of what's possible. Okay, so it is true, by the way, computation creates microstates and thus requires reduction in entropy to simulate. That's a fundamental thing in Shannon's information theory. But if you look into Melvin Vopson's work, you can actually check out my interview with him as well on my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. Just look for the interview with Melvin Vopson, or just Google his name. He wrote a paper and a book that are actually dealing with the fact of what you just mentioned, and he calls it the second law of infodynamics. And in the title, the postulation is that it actually seems to lead to the idea that we live in some kind of a computational environment. So it actually supports that case. Not to mention that the idea of the digital world being more fundamental than what we call the physical world goes way, 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 way back. Well, I mean, again, it goes all the way to Plato in the cave, but to something more technical, it goes back to Wheeler. And Wheeler, predates us by quite a bit. He actually coined the phrase "it from bit." These are not new ideas, and they are by no means impossible. In fact, they are the most plausible explanation possible, I would claim, even from the most technical standpoint. And in fact, this fact that informational entropy somehow decreases in informational, physical, biological systems supports the idea that this is a simulation, because that's exactly how you would build an optimizing computational system. You exist in 2 dimensions now as you appear in your mind and as you are physically. Yeah, it seems to be the case according to the holographic principle. Yeah, the whole computers get hot argument is not really a good one. It doesn't require you can create distributed computers in space-time itself. You can use basically perturbations of really any substrate, including ones that dissipate heat extremely efficiently. Thank you for the question, Unlock the Minds. I don't know if I can say I've seen exact adinkras, because adinkras are, if you're talking about the ones that you kind of see, like the simple ones. I guess something like that, but for sure. Let's see what we got on YouTube. Am I aware of or? Yes, I am. Am I still having the experience with the console? Yes. Has it developed? Like I said, I'm working on a new video on the subject and will be experimenting with it a lot more soon. I agree, hologram is what I've seen. Great. If you follow one of the codes, does it eventually dissolve or does it wander off? You don't see one individual code, you see essentially a very, very big mess of these things. And yes, I am, Dave, aware of or. Consciousness in the brain is a hologram generated by interface among quantum oscillations, space-time geometry from laser, like coherence and microtubules. So I don't know what you combine there, but definitely the holographic principle is not mentioned in OR as any major player. The postulation, it is true that the postulation is that the microtubules are involved in bringing quantum states. They are basically the product of bringing quantum states into classical states. And according to Hameroff and Penrose, these are the moments of proto-consciousness. I don't remember in the paper anybody mentioning holography. Maybe I'm misremembering something, but I do not recall that. But I am on board that this is a hologram, which is the holographic principle. Those are two separate principles. When I died, I entered the void, as I call it. There was a wall of light coming from the distance that seemed to fuel our existence against a table that housed the actual hologram laser and disc. Interesting. That sounds interesting. I'd love to see a live video of you and someone new smoking, viewing, discussing the laser. That might have a little bit of a legally contentious nature, but who knows? This is why I ask if there might be a common internal source. I see what you're saying. Well, there has to be a common source. I'm not sure that the word internal or external make any difference really. If you had an additional handheld laser pointer, could you point to one of the code characters? Great question. I never tried that. I should. Probably not because they move very fast and they're very small. Daniel, how are you, my brother? Love you, man. So good to see you. That quote tweet from Hamroff. In that case, let me copy it. So let's see. Does it allow me to copy from here? It doesn't allow me to copy from here. It's so annoying. How do I do this? Let me see if I can do this. I'll try and find it. Yeah, because I read the paper. It was already a couple of years ago. But I don't remember lasers being mentioned. That's for sure. But, of course, I can just misremember. What is that? It's so weird. Well, weird. Okay, well, I'll look it up right after we're done with the live. Thank you for sharing that. Great to see you doing this again, brother. Love the consistency. Oh, yeah, man. Every day. Every day. Oh, it doesn't allow you to share links, unfortunately, Dave. I don't know if you know this, but no links appear. You can't actually share links on the YouTube Live for some reason. It would be best if you just email me. That would appreciate it a lot. Go make it easier. To lasersimulationx@gmail.com. There you go. What's wrong with what question? Daniel, what question? Did I say something was wrong? A 4D simulation would require more heat than the thing it simulates. That is incorrect. A machine that is Turing complete can simulate anything without producing no heat, because it doesn't matter how fast it does it. You can have the writing head moving very, very slow, and if you're talking about the only thing that would actually matter is the conscious experience of any being that is being simulated or experiencing a world. So you can move very slow and go atom by atom by atom by atom by atom, literally printing all the world slowly. And a conscious being would never be any wiser, because every frame of transitional computational step is the only thing that the being clocks and realizes is a moment of experience. The delta between these moments of experience is what you call, I guess, time or occurrence. But these translational moments is the only thing that needs to happen, and they don't have to go fast. Speed it's already a ramification of space-time itself. There is no need for speed in many, different kinds of spaces. You don't have to have friction necessarily. You can have different laws of physics. There's a lot of things that can happen, and you definitely are not limited by heat, because again, heat is already a product of space-time. Again, if you want a really more technical explanation, that social media live is definitely not the way to do it on like a really quick comment section. So you can either email me about this, but I would recommend that you read Melvin Vopson's paper first. It's not that long and it's pretty accessible, so you can just Google Melvin Vopson, The Second Law of Infodynamics. Melvin Vopson, The Second Law of Infodynamics. Read that paper. Daniel is saying, brother, the simulation appears to me too many layers to... Wait. The simulation appears to many layers to it. Some people appear to have access to other layers from one another. Yes, I agree with that. Oh, I see that you also text me. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate you. Wait, what happened to... the paper is by Melvin Vopson, Melvin. Vopson is Vopson, and you can just type the second law of infodynamics. So just like you have the second law of thermodynamics, the second law of infodynamics. Melvin Vopson. The paper should have the word simulation in the title. It's a peer-reviewed paper. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate you. Do you have any layers? The link, my handle on X. I saw just showing you an email. My handle on X is Goller Danny. Let me see. Opening the link. Consciousness in the brain is a hologram generated by interface among quantum oscillations, space-time geometry, from laser like coherence, microtubules and cortical. Wow, well look at that. Everything is converging. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. It goes exactly around what I was saying that I see, which is the holographic principle seems to be at the center of actually what I found. So thank you for sharing that. I'm going to look deeper into this very particular idea by Hameroff. Thank you. Also, I see that you said something, Daniel. Hold on. Well, all I can tell you is in the future, and I know it will sound conceited, but Schrodinger was wrong about that. We absolutely do. And by the way, the impossibility of things, there's literally nothing. These arguments rely on everything inside of spacetime. Again, inside of spacetime. They're not talking about things that are giving rise to spacetime. Computation seems to be a lot more fundamental than spacetime. Wheeler, which I think you would agree was a major competitor as far as some of the most brilliant minds to have ever lived, and he absolutely said that is the most plausible explanation. Also, we understand a lot since Schrodinger, by the way. Let me see. Oh yeah, Daniel. I think some of your comments. I think some of your comments didn't go through, Daniel. I don't know why, but you're saying it might be a ploy to bring us together. Not sure. I do see that there's many layers and different people perceive it differently. I know you perceive it differently. I know I perceive it differently. But meeting somewhere in the middle is important. Ooh, it's almost 4. Yeah, I gotta go to actually Tellurian. Thank you so much. Read Theory About Space-Time, Space Memory by Nassim Harmain. Yeah. Yep. I'm familiar. Okay. I didn't realize it's that late. I do have to jump off as well, guys. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Sorry it's so sudden, but it is almost 4 a.m. for me and I gotta wake up in like 4 hours. So, love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you all tomorrow. My handles are Danny Goller on X and Instagram. Sorry. Woo! Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. Goller Danny on X. Dango Thoughts on YouTube and LaserX83 on Twitch. See you guys. I'll see you tomorrow when I'm a little bit more rested. Much love. Ciao. See you guys.